Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Developer. My name is Anna Tenbensel. I'm a certified blockchain developer and a certified cryptocurrency auditor. Wow, it has been a 2-month hiatus. In case anyone wanted to know why there was a 2-month hiatus. First off, I adopted a sick horse on accident. Well, I didn't know the horse was sick, but I adopted a horse on purpose. I moved across the country and life has just been crazy with contracts. So I'm excited to jump back into the Metaplex. If you were here a couple months ago, we did the first introductory video on the Metaplex. So today I'm going to be going through probably one of a few videos about the Metaplex Candy Machine version 2. I'm not going to do version 1 because I don't see the need right now, but we're going to be starting with like kind of the introduction and like how to get started. So in case you're kind of unaware, their version of Candy Machine version 2 is the second iteration of Candy Machine, which is a fully on-chain generative NFT distribution program. So this new version allows us to create a whole new set of distribution scenarios and offers protection from bot attacks, while still providing kind of like the same easy-to-use experience. So some of the features that we're going to be going over are the unpredictable mint index. Essentially, version 2 eliminates the possibility of being able to sequentially mint something, i.e. going down the line. So it was a little bit more predictable. Like, let's say you knew you were going to mint number 3 because you were third on the list. This is going to make it not the case. So you kind of guarantee a level playing field when it comes to minting rare items. Another feature is going to be the whitelist. Now you have a possibility to create several different configurations for whitelist, which is amazing. So you can allow a whitelist users to mint before start date, mint at a discounted price, or a restricted mint, and like just entirely for the whitelist users. So any SPL token can be used to create a whitelist, and you can choose how they are distributed. This is huge, y'all. CAPTCHA settings, which will be integrated with CAPTCHA to limit the mint to humans, so bots can't do it anymore, which is massive. I can't even tell you how many times I saw something like that, a bot minting. And then last but not least, one of their newer features is the larger collections and hide to reveal drops. So it is going to be possible to create super large and hide and reveal drops by specifying a single hash, which is used by all mints. And while the hash is the same across all mints, the name of each item is specified with a unique number, allowing off-chain process to later update the metadata for the actual item. So that's kind of the cool and new improvements to Candy Machine version 2. So I just want to go ahead and jump right in here to getting started. So before we create a Candy Machine, you need to install a handful of things. So I like to work on VS Code. You can do another system of your choice, but I'm going to be using this on Mac, so this might be different if you're a Windows or a Linux user, but you'll need the recent version of Git, because we're going to clone a repository. We need Node, we need Yarn, and TS Node. So if you're not familiar with TypeScript, I'll make a video about it because I've made a video with Git, Node, and Yarn, but I don't think I've made one with TypeScript. I will try to do that hopefully later on this week, but let's go ahead and open up our terminal line here. So I just want to say Git version. I just want to know what version I have. Okay, so I am basically, I think I'm up to date here. I don't know what the latest version is, but let's do Node version. Okay, 17.8. I think that's the most recent. Let's do Yarn version. Okay, and then last but not least, we have TS Node version 10.8. Okay, cool. So we just want to make sure that everything here is up to date. If you do not know how to check to see if this is up to date, I can do another video about that as well. Just drop something in the comments if you want me to show you all how to download and make sure you have these on your software and on your local machine. So we then want to go ahead and clone the Metaplex foundation. This is going to make it a ton easier for you guys. So creating and controlling a Candy Machine is done through the Metaplex command line tool, currently distributed in the Metaplex GitHub repository. So for now, I recommend pulling the latest code with all the updates from the master branch. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling up the link here. It is github.com/metaplex-foundation/Metaplex. So we are going to be cloning this today using the command line tool. So we will go back to our code here, and we're going to say git clone, and then we will paste the link. We'll paste the link here, and this will create the Metaplex in our home directory with the latest code from the repository. So if you decide to clone the repository from a different location, you'll need to change the path. Okay, so now that we have opened this up, this will create, so now that this is opened up into its own directory, we need to get the latest code from this repository. So we'll need to install the dependencies from outside the Metaplex directory, and we're going to do that by doing this. Perfect. Already done and up to date. So now we can check that everything is working and running with the Candy Machine CLI command. Perfect. And this is what we want to be using. The output should be 0.0.2. So now we're going to get into something a little bit trickier. So Candy Machine runs and operates on the Solana blockchain. And you can create a wallet using the Solana tool suite, which we are about to do. So I'm going to go here. And if you go to docs.solana.com/CLI/install-Solana-CLI-tools, you will have the ways to install it on Mac, Linux, and Windows. My goodness, sorry, y'all. And this will help us get our own wallet, because what we're going to be needing to do is set up a DevNet wallet for testing. You do not want to test this on a non-DevNet system. You don't want to be on the mainnet for it, so then you're not actually using Sol, like actual Sol. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to open our favorite terminal application. I just checked, I don't have Solana installed, so let us go ahead and copy this. I'm on a Mac, so it might be different for you. And I will copy, paste, and enter. And it should say it's downloading the installer. This is the most up-to-date installer. By the time you all watch this video, there could be another update. It might be a different number. Don't panic. They do a great job with their updates. All right, now it says installs up to date 1.10.28. Awesome. So now that we have Solana installed, let's go a little farther and check what our Solana address is. So as you can see, we don't have a Solana address already. Set up a DevNet wallet for testing. So to create a new wallet, we need to use the Solana keygen command. So I will put that down here. I'm not sure if you all are going to be able to see it, but it's just Solana-keygen new space -- out file space squiggle / dot config /Solana / devnet. And I think it's .json. All right. So I went ahead and threw a passphrase in here. This is my new pub key. If you create one, please, 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 please remember it. Save it. This is how you do everything, especially if you're not on the DevNet. Just remember this. So the next step is to make this our default. So let's make this our default key. Here we go. Commitment confirmed. Great. Now we want to make sure we are on the DevNet. So how we're going to do that is we're going to write Solana, and we're going to spell it correctly, config set --URL https semicolon / metaplex.devnet.rpcp. And I don't remember the rest of this, so let me just look really quick. Okay, it is pool.com /. So this is the config file location. This is our DevNet. We are looking great. So we're going to say Solana config get. All right. Here we are. Confirmed. So in order to add Sol to your DevNet wallet, you can essentially request funds from the faucet. So we would say Solana airdrop 2. Requesting airdrop of 2 Sol, finalizing transaction, and here we are. Now we have 2 Sol. So if the command is successful, you'll see the updated balance at the end, and make sure you're entering the airdrop amount that's within the airdrop limit. So the current maximum, I think, is 24 Sol. Last thing I'm going to talk about in this video, before we get into the assets and creating the candy machine and uploading and minting tokens and everything, let's talk about configuration. The configuration now allows you to save time and kind of reuse the configuration across multiple drops. So there's a single account on chain that holds all the configuration of Candy Machine and the values that can be updated at any point. So when the Candy Machine operates, the way the Candy Machine operates depends on the settings used, and therefore it is the most important part of setting up your Candy Machine. It is crucial to understand how the settings work to decide which ones to use for your project. So let's just talk about a couple examples here below. So let's just go ahead and talk about a couple examples. For an example, price, number, and gatekeeper. These are settings that we can add. Sol Treasury account, Sol token account, SPL token, go live date, end settings, whitelist mint settings. I mean, storage, hidden settings, Infura, Pinata gateway, storage key. We could go on. But if you use no mutable, which is a feature here, if you set no mutable to true, you will not be able to update your NFTs at any point in the future. So I want that to be noted here when we're getting into everything. So I'm going to go over really quick. I'm going to add a new file. We are going to go ahead and delete this later, but I'm just going to call it for the sake of this so you guys know what it's going to look like and how to write it out. We're going to call this test minimal config. And we're going to make that space go away. So you'd see something like price, which would, tell you the price of something. Let's say you want it for 1 Sol. And the number, let's say 20. You're numbering your stuff. Your gatekeeper, we would say probably null right now. And then we'd say Sol Treasury account. This is where you would put in like your wallet address. And let's say something like the go live date. Today's date is June 28th. So it would have to be formatted along the lines of 28 June 2022 11:59 EST. That would be a second before midnight my time. Let's say it doesn't have any end settings. And if you want to have end settings, go for it. But I would say no for me, because I wouldn't want my NFTs to have an end date. They could just get them whenever. Let's see. What would be something else? Oh, let's say a whitelist mint setting. So for me, I wouldn't have one, but that's how you would see it written out if you were to have it. And then let's just say, storage. And like, let's say that that's all you're really having. I would do Airweave. Soul. And this is a bad habit. Just do commas at the end of this. This is not correct. So I sometimes don't remember I do this. There. So the number of items in the setting can only be updated after you create your own candy machine. And if you're using hidden settings are not used, and the number value used to allocate the space is required. So these settings will configure version 2 to operate in a similar way as version 1, although the mint order will be unpredictable. So even the most simple like version 2 configuration is basically an improvement over version 1. And you can see this as like the minimum set of settings required, literally just to create a candy machine. And you would have to add more to this, like NFT storage keys, IPFS, if you're a project ID, if you're a secret, hidden settings, etc. And many projects will be using like a similar set of settings, which basically provides a fully working on-chain distribution mechanisms. But the settings that we're really specifying here are price, number, and go live date. And I want to also talk really quickly about gatekeeper settings, because I realized don't think I spoke about that earlier. While the unpredictable mint index provides some protection against bots, bots basically are still able to mint directly from the candy machine. So if you want to make sure only humans can mint from your project, you can enable a gatekeeper setting on your config JSON file. And you would do that with the following. You would say gatekeeper, and then curly bracket, gatekeeper network. And then you would have whatever provider. So it would be provider network address. And just say expire on use, true. So this will enable a gatekeeper challenge once the mint button is clicked. Only after passing the challenge will you be allowed to mint. When you use a gatekeeper, you will not be able to mint from the CLI command, the CLI command being like mint 1 token. That's the CLI command. If you want to pre-mint from the version 2 and you're planning on using a gatekeeper, you should set the go live date up here to null and turn the gatekeeper off temporarily. This will allow you to mint from the command line, but only you as the version 2 authority can do that. Once you completed the pre-mint, turn gatekeeper back on and then correct the go live date here. If your candy machine is live and has no gatekeeper, it's open to bot attacks, and the unpredictable mint index only prevents knowing which item to mint. But the box can still snipe a large volume of items. So I just want that to be clear. And, we just recently touched on provider network. There are currently 2 supported gatekeepers, and we can get the details below here. And if you want to become a gatekeeper, you can also use this email address, identity.org. Email them, and you can learn more about the Identity Gateway Protocol. But there's 2 ways we verify this. So we either use Civic CAPTCHA Pass, and the address is as follows. So I'm gonna write that in here. Civic CAPTCHA pass. There you go. Oh, well, here you go. Yes. I know. Okay, so that is their address. To maintain this, it would be the same thing here, like expire on use true. Changing this really does increase your susceptibility to project bots. Once it's enabled, a user will be able to be issued a Civic CAPTCHA pass after successfully completing the challenge and automatically checked on Candy Machine prior to minting. It only stays active for 10 minutes and for 1 mint to limit the options for like malicious botters. And if you want more information, I can attach more information below. But the second one and last one is Verify by Encore. And their address is below right here. It's a Web3 alternative to CAPTCHA that uses randomized challenge response tests to filter out bots. And if you're using either one of these, you're by default agreeing to their terms and conditions, just for the record. And I know I lightly spoke again about hidden settings and end settings, so I want to touch base on those before we get too far, and whitelist settings. So when we talk about the hidden settings, it basically serves two purposes. So first, it allows the creation of larger drops over 20K, since the metadata is not stored on the chain. To enable hidden settings, you need to provide the details for hide settings in the config file. And you would do that by writing hidden settings, curly bracket, name, and just say my hidden collection, URI, and we're just going to write URI. And then hash, and then whatever that hash value is. So once the hidden settings are enabled, every mint will have the same URI, and the name will be created by the appending mint number, like 45, to the name specified. So the hash is expected to be a 32-character string corresponding to the hash of the cached file, and the mapping between the mint and the number and the actual metadata URI. So this allows the order of the mint to be verified by others after the mint is complete. So the metadata is not on chain, and it is possible to create very large drops. The only caveat is that there is a need for off-chain process to update the metadata for each item. This is really important. Otherwise, all of the items will have the same metadata, and that's just like not great. So quickly, I'll go through end settings, which end settings just provide a mechanism to stop the mint if a certain condition is met without interaction. So there are two conditions that can be specified here. To stop a mint at a specific time, we'll be writing it like as follows. So end settings, curly bracket, end settings type. I'm going to do curly bracket, and then I would say the date, and then the time. And then I would write value, and then I would do the actual date. So for me today, it would be the 28th of June, 2022, 23. We have to use this EST. So that would be to end it on a specific timestamp. If you wanted to end it after a certain amount of time, like a certain amount of items have been minted, you can write end settings. Oops. Don't put that space in there. Don't do it. And send end settings type. You see me messing up here a little bit. Sorry, y'all. And then you would say something like amount, which would be I realize I just wrote time instead of true up here. Sorry, everyone. Amount and true. So once that amount is hit, that's when it'll stop. So then we will add the value of, let's say, 20. And then that would be to stop after a certain amount of items. So this would be 20 items. So this can be used in combinations with other settings to create specific use cases. So for example, you can run a whitelist pre-sale either for a limited time or for a limited number of items. You can specify the sale period between the go live date and the end settings date. So we had the go live date up here. I mean, you can just bracket it off essentially. But last but not least, whitelist settings. Because everyone wants to know about the whitelist. Whitelist settings basically provide a variety of different use cases and revolve around the idea of using custom SPL tokens to offer special rights to token holders. How said SPL tokens is distributed is up to you. So let's kind of go through about creating a whitelist for pre-sale only, which allows whitelist users to mint before the go live date and burning the whitelist token each time. So once the sale begins, whitelist users do not have any privileges. And I want that to be very clear. And we'll go through a couple more after this because this is a great way to incentivize people to come to your NFT collections and have a little bit more weight. So for this, we would say, lowercase whitelist mint settings. Curly bracket, mode, curly bracket, burn every time. Oh, let's do that. True. Then we're going to say mint, and this would be from our place that it's minting from. That don't actually write mint wallet. That's not exactly what it is. It's going to be that key. We're going to say pre-sale. True. Because this is the pre-sale. And then we don't want a discounted price. Count price. Let's go ahead and say no. Okay. So let's talk about creating a whitelist pre-sale, burning the whitelist token each time and providing whitelist users with a 0.5 SOL price tag instead of like the specified discount price. So once the sale begins, anyone can mint, but only whitelist users get the discount. So I'm actually going to do this. We're going to copy this. It's going to be a lot easier. So we're going to do burn every time true. We're going to leave all of this the same. But one thing that we're going to change, instead of null, we're going to say 0.5. That's all. That's how they will get the 0.5 SOL price tag. So going off of this again, let's create a whitelist setting for presale, not burning the whitelist token and giving whitelist users a 0.5 SOL price tag instead. Once a sale begins, only the whitelist gets you the discount. So let's do this again, creating the whitelist for presale, but not burning the whitelist token. So what we're going to do, we're going to give this a nice good old copy paste again, because I know that's a pain to watch me type it every single time. But instead of burn every time, we're going to write never burn. Everything else is going to remain the same. We're giving them the 0.5 SOL price again. And going with that. And last but not least, for the whitelist, creating a whitelist, burning the whitelist token each time, and running the whitelist during the sale. This, in effect, restricts any user without the whitelist token from minting at all. So this pre-sale is set to false and the discount price is set to null. The only purpose of the whitelist is to restrict the mint. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back up here. We're going to copy this. We're going to come back down here. We want whitelist mint settings, mode, burn every time, true. We want the mint to be from the mint area. For the pre-sale, we want it to be false. And for the discount price, we want it to be null. So that is sort of the basics when we talk about configuring this stuff. This is kind of what you need to know right off the bat. So once you decided which settings are suitable for your project, save them in your settings in a JSON file, like JSON. And we'll be, for this purpose, we'll be making it as config.json. So I will see you guys on the next video when you are ready to start uploading your assets to the Candy Machine. Thank you so much for watching. For any comments, questions, suggestions, corrections, concerns, and inquiries, drop a comment below, and I will see you all in the next video.